Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob.
It's you! Oh, yeah, we're here to talk about the big D lineman here. The defensive lineman. Who said that? What? Yeah. So, we had with us also Antonio of the Breaking Tackles Giants podcast. Some of you guys may remember, it's been on a little bit of a hiatus where I've been talking to him prior to the show, telling him it's time to get that sucker started back up again. We'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see if we can convince him. Put in the comments. If you like what Antonio says, put in the comments. And listen, this guy's got to get a show back up and running because he does. Trust me.
Absolutely. So, and by the way, you can catch me in Spaces. We're almost in Spaces every morning if you're on Twitter Spaces. And they were talking all kinds of things for Giants football. And I appreciate you guys for having me on your show.
No, appreciate you coming on, man. Yeah. It's definitely a pleasure. So before we get into the defensive line positional review here, we do, of course, have to go over our Giants breaking news for the last 24 hours. Sorry, last 48 hours here since our last show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that never gets old. The breaking news. It's so like 80s newsroom. I love it. It's like
so good, so good.
And in other news, so the mayor today stepped on a poodle. The poodle was not happy. It's like there's construction going on in Route 75. It's like so. As most things are with Giants news lately, it all pretty much starts and ends with one man, DJ, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. And woo, the rumor mill just does not stop on this guy. I'm telling you, this guy's got more rumors going than freaking Lady Gaga at this point. It's insanity. It's like every other day, it's like you look at the news, it's like he wanted $75 million. And the person, he said he'd do it for $5. Like, it's just like they're so far in between. They're so close to a deal. Oh, they're nowhere near one. It's like, just make up your mind, people. It's like, you got these talking heads.
So he's good.
It's like these talking heads just want to get their news, their name in the news, and they're like, I'm just going to say whatever I think is happening.
Oh, the clicks, yeah. Absolutely. Do not think for 1 second that these beat reporters are not enjoying this chaos. They're not enjoying the fact that they're bringing traffic to their pages. That's mostly what they're in it for, obviously, clearly. And props to them. They know how to take advantage of the situation.
It's all about the money.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly. Clicks mean money. It may be like 1.5 cents per click, but it still adds up over time.
Absolutely. And listen, the only thing that we have that's down packed is Joe Shane said they're not so close in the negotiations, but if worse comes to worse, he'll go and tag him. That's the only thing where I'm sitting at right now.
Oh, yeah, so here's where we're at here the last 48 hours as far as the quote-unquote news sources here. So Joe Shane said Thursday he wished the team was closer to a contract with Jones. Well, that's obvious, like, duh. Like, what he's going to say? I wish we were further apart. If only this was more difficult. Like, this guy's making it too easy on us. Like, seriously, like, I don't even get how half this stuff is news half the time, to be very frank with you. And it's bad because we're reporting it as well. We're part of the problem, not the solution here, basically. It's like, so Pat Leonard, who's everybody's pretty much least favorite reporter for the Giants. I've never seen a more hated person in the Giants media room than Pat Leonard is. So he's reporting that the initial ask was over $45 million. Who cares? Who cares? If my boss comes to me and says, how much money do you want? I want $100 million. Please make that happen.
Absolutely.
Like, we can't hate on somebody who wants to get as much money as possible because we all do.
Not at all.
And people keep forgetting in this whole thing as well is the NFL is about to have a huge increase in the salary cap as these new TV deals come down the next year or two. So keep in mind, like this YouTube TV with the Sunday Ticket and all, that hasn't hit the salary cap yet. When it does,
the agents do know that too.
Exactly.
And the agents are thinking about that, and they're including that in their salaries. They're not saying, "Oh yeah, we're just working with this year's salary." Yep. They know what's gonna coming down the pipe too.
45 is the new 35. That's going to happen in a couple of years, guys. And their agents are looking at that, saying, "Why am I going to shortchange him in the future?" And I can't blame them. They're out for their best interest of Daniel Jones, not for the New York Giants, not for you and me. Daniel Jones is their priority, as it should be.
Do you say the agent's in the best interest of the player? Because I'm pretty sure it's about the agent's pocket.
Well, in the end, if the player does well, so does the agent. That typically is how it works. If he gets a massive deal, then there's 10% going to that agent. Because people forget, these guys, when they're making NFL salaries, they only get like half that salary by the time taxes and agent fees and all this stuff is done. So if he gets $45 million hypothetically, he's only getting $22.5, which I know only $22.5 million. That poor guy.
I wish.
But it's like it's not like he's literally pocketing $45 million a year. So Jordan Raanan, who I take a lot more stock in what he says than Pat Leonard, mostly because I hate Pat Leonard. But listen, at least I'm honest and unbiased. He tweeted that progress has been made in the last few days and added that a contract being done before Tuesday doesn't seem unreasonable. So that's what I'm saying. You got one guy saying, "Oh, they're nowhere near it. He wants $100 million a year." One guy saying, "Oh yeah, they're getting close." So it's like, which one is it? Ian Rappaport tweeting that both sides are hard at work, focusing on a new deal, and there appears to be a glimmer of hope. I love that, a glimmer of hope. It's like, what is this? Like, we got the fairy godmother in Joe Shane's office trying to get a contract going here.
It's a whole lot of nothing, and you just see the Twitter roller coaster just going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's great. It's
really great. And they're all journalists, so nothing's like out of place because it's all hypothetical what it's going to be, and everyone's trying to make their best guess what it's going to be. Like I said, Drew and I have already said what our thoughts about it. Like at the end of the day, Danny Dollars now is probably going to make like 37 mil. 36, 38.
So I do think this. I think they're going to I think they're going to have the contract done before Tuesday. I really do, and I think the Giants are going to cave in, but they're going to backload the hell out of it.
So I'm not a Jones supporter, and I think he's going to end up getting tagged by. Well, obviously Joe Shane said he's going to tag him, right? And I think he ends up getting tagged, and I think it ends up being a non-exclusive tag, and then from there, now we're going to have a whole other party to talk about.
So let me ask you this, Antonio. If somebody gives him a good contract and you don't want to match it in that because that's what happens, obviously, in that scenario.
Right.
Are you happy with 2 first-round picks?
We might not even get 2 first-round picks if somebody matches it. So the teams could negotiate, and they could just pick 1 first-rounder and then like a 3rd rounder if they want. I don't think anybody would give 2 first-rounders for Jones, but if there is somebody, then absolutely. Why not?
That's what I'm saying. Because it also brings us to the information that Joe Shane did meet with quarterback Anthony Richardson at the Combine, sparking even more rumors. And to me, I think it's all smoke and mirrors because he's a GM. He has to look at every player. And what better way to send a message to Daniel Jones's camp than saying, "You don't want this money? Guess who does? Anthony Richardson seems to like it." Because in the end, and I've said this multiple times, and I stand by that, you will never, ever make more money in the NFL than being a successful quarterback for either New York teams. It is such a large market. The $40 million or whatever that he would make is nothing compared to what he's going to make in marketing off of endorsements and all that kind of stuff. You want to go to Carolina? How much money did Cam Newton make off endorsements? Don't get me wrong. He made money. But you got a guy who was an MVP caliber quarterback.
Right.
And Eli Manning had more quarterback and more commercials.
He had to reach those levels. And Eli Manning is still being involved in social media, not social media, and making money off of media way past his time as a player. So there is a play in New York too.
The Manning and Manning, which is the best telecast for Monday Night Football ever. The Manning brothers. Absolutely. I'm just amazed how crazy Peyton Manning's forehead looks in HD. That 1080p. That's like 4K right there. That's like 8K now.
Are you surprised with that helmet? Yeah. Are you surprised with that crazy ass alien helmet that you used to wear? It's crazy.
And Eli had one too. Whenever he wore his helmet, I always thought it looked oversized. It was like dark helmet from Spaceballs.
They knew something though. They knew something.
He's going up to Donovan McNabb. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Ludicrous speed.
Raspberry jam, only one man. So we got more combine news here. So TCU wide receiver Quentin Johnston, who I'll say this, I don't think he'll be available by the time we pick unless we move up. But he did talk about the fact that he could see himself in blue after wearing that color in high school. That's a weird correlation to make. I wore green in high school. Does that mean I play for the Eagles? No. But whatever. He said, and this was right after he met with the Giants, and he said that he could definitely see himself in a New York jersey, which was interesting because his exact words were New York jersey.
New Jersey, hey, there you go.
No, what I'm saying is maybe he doesn't care where he plays, but he wants to play in New York.
That's true too.
These guys make some money off the rest of the stuff. It's not just the salaries. Also had LSU's BJ Ojulari. That last name might sound familiar to some of you Giant fans here. It might, and if it doesn't, welcome to the show. You must be a first-time listener. So BJ Ojulari it said it'd be a blessing to play with his brother, Azeez Ojulari, on the Giants. And how crazy would that be to have an Ojulari duo like that? At least one of them hopefully be healthy for each game. Oops, did I say that?
Hey, Ojulari, it is only a year that we've seen Ojulari hurt. So
I know, and that's why people are flipping out already. I'm like, I think he got too much muscle. I really do. I think he gained too much muscle in the offseason, and it made him more susceptible to injuries.
Yeah, with me and Ojulari, and we're gonna get to this D line, later on the show. I just think that we need a bigger body there. I think that he's looking to me like a third down specialist, honestly. And we'll talk about that down the line.
Well, that's gonna be next. That's the edge one. So we got just the D line today. So you're really putting people in suspense now. You're really putting people in suspense. Way to be cruel, Antonio. We did not get an invite back being mean to the listeners.
Hey, listen, I thought we had all of them together, the D-line. I consider those guys D-line
Oh, too. No. Edge and rushers, I call those. So
gotcha,
we got that one now. We also have a former Giant retiring, Dante Dion, who was the little tiny little corner. He was so cute, little tiny little corner. He was like 170 pounds. He's like 170 pounds, like soaking wet. How that man made it 6 years in the NFL, I don't know. I'm surprised he made it past one game. One good hit, he should have been out for his career. So you got to give it to guys like that, the Spud Webs of the NFL, so to speak, that just keep going, and they have all the heart in the world because you have to play at that kind of size.
Absolutely.
So congrats on a great career. 6 years in, 3 years with us, 3 years with the Rams, including the Super Bowl ring with them. Did not play last year, so he decided to hang it up now. We also had the Ringer announce their list of top 100 free agents. We ended up with 4 of the 100. I don't think it's very difficult to figure out which one the 4 it is. Mm-hmm. So you got Jones, you got Barkley, you got Slayton, and you got Love. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, there's 32 teams in the league. You should have 3.
Yeah.
We're not that far off.
Yeah.
We're not that far off. But probably a team like the Texans has none or one.
But it's just crazy to me how everybody kept saying that our roster was so bad, and then we have guys in the top 100. And again, like you're saying, but normally bad teams wouldn't have top 100 dudes, and I'm pretty sure that those guys are near the top at their respective positions too. Like
yes,
Barkley's probably the number 1. Slayton, what wide receivers right now are better than Slayton out there in the free agents?
Jacoby Meyer. That's my big one. That's my big one.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins he's not a free agent. He's still got one more year left.
Yeah.
And the Bengals said they're not going to trade him now. So,
but there you go. Slayton, you can make the argument. Slayton right now is probably 3 to 5 to 5th best free agent, wide receiver right now.
Oh yeah, it's a really bad class.
Yeah. Jones has to be the number 3, top 3 quarterback right now, free agent probably.
Yep.
So it's
actually
crazy.
Probably number 2, but besides, actually, I guess
Geno
3.
Maybe?
I'll give him 3 because I'll say
Lamar, Geno.
I would kind of tie Geno and Daniel Jones. Okay. I would say Lamar, and then I would say David Carr or Derek Carr. Sorry, wrong Carr.
No, absolutely.
I would say Carr ahead of him, but
I would agree with that.
So we'll see what happens with him because there's still all kinds of rumors there. So we also had the news that keeps on spinning around of Jalen Ramsey being a potential target for the Giants. And I'm sorry, I don't see it. We don't have the money to pay this guy like that. We just don't have it. And we already have a top flight corner. We don't need another one. We need to extend the one we have to get his cap number down so we got some money. That should be our priority over getting a second guy who, to be very frank, I thought lost a little bit of a step last year when I was watching him. Granted, he didn't have a lot of talent around him like he usually does, and that's probably part of that. But I don't think he looked as good last year. And he's, I think 28, 29?
Adoree? You didn't think he looked
No. I'm saying Jalen Ramsey. Adoree Jackson looked amazing until he had to do punt returns.
Right. Yeah, no. And also, if also with Ramsey, he was playing a lot of that strong safety role.
Yep.
They call it the star. I don't know what they call it over there, but at the end of the day, it's like, why don't you have a premier corner in the outside playing corner? I just kind of find that kind of interesting, and I'm like, I don't want to.
Because he's not so premier.
That's the thing. It has something about that has to be weird, and I don't want to touch Jalen Ramsey.
I don't pretend to watch every single Ram game, but I watched obviously a lot of the prime time, and because they won the Super Bowl last year, they were on prime time quite often. And he did not look so good to me when I watched him play. He just did not.
I agree.
Don't get me wrong. He didn't look like a bum. He's not a bum. I'm not trying to say that, but he's not elite anymore.
Way better than what we have at whatever position he wants to play, but still, it's just like, listen, him and Adoree in a team. Don't get me wrong. Amazing, but not for the price that he's asking for, or the price that he currently his contract.
Because watch, he's going to want a new contract. He'll want a new contract if he does that. I guarantee you. They always do.
Yeah, 100%. And like Drew and I have already talked about this. Like last year was supposed to be a rebuild year. We went to the playoffs. Fantastic
playoffs.
We just want to win one game. Anyway, we're still in a rebuild. Like, and that's the whole point of rebuild. Like, you don't spend the money, you get the talent.
Listen, what I call last year was like the culmination of whatever crap Gettleman had going on, and then Joe Shane this was the last year of Gettleman. And it was just like, okay, this is the best that you could do, a divisional round playoff, Gettleman. Great. Have a nice life. This is now really where that was year 0 for me for Joe Shane. This is year 1. It's like a birthday. And this is where I want.
Perfect.
Happy birthday, Joe Shane.
Exactly. This is the offseason now where, hey, listen, I don't want to hear no excuses about you didn't have your scouts. You didn't have anything ready. Everything now has to be great.
No money.
Again, everything has. This is now where you're going to be graded on, Joe Shane, from here on.
Oh, yeah. And we will grade you harshly with the red pen. Red pen is ready to go. You better have your number 2 pencil out.
Yeah.
So we also have other speculation that kind of started and ended rather abruptly. And Evan Ingram talking about that New York has a special place for him and he would actually enjoy coming back. And listen, I'm probably one of the very few Giant fans that would take him back because I think don't get me wrong, he'll never be the most sure-handed tight end of the league. He will never be. That's just not who he is. It's kind of like expecting Slayton to stop dropping the ball. A dropper is a dropper.
Exactly.
But he was at least average last year as far as that. And that really made him a much better tight end because you can make that average, which makes everything else that was already above average that much better. So I would take him back personally, but
absolutely.
The Jaguars franchise tagged him, so he's gone. That goes that option.
Yep. So and listen, I regretted the day that we let go of Ingram because I knew that it had to do a lot with the scheme that we was in. And I was like, this scheme is not benefit to that young man. And I'm gonna be honest, you could see what was his problem, right? The 7 to 8 comeback routes, and Daniel Jones just throwing it right at him. He just didn't have the hands to catch those balls. But you would have Jason Garrett over and over and over. It's just weird how you could only imagine what would he be in this scheme with Kafka.
Oh God.
It would be crazy because he would be stretching that middle of the field for us, which we desperately needed that.
And we got a first comment here from Brian Gallagher Jr. You guys may remember him from a couple episodes ago with the Big Blue Unfiltered podcast. And he says, hands of stone. And you're not wrong. Listen, it's like Medusa gave that guy a manicure. I'm just saying, like, that's what it is. Like, but it is what it is there. Like I said, you can't be great at everything.
He makes some great catches, too. It's the easy ones that he lets go.
And what's crazy is he even mentioned how the fans didn't really like him that much, and he still was like, yeah, I'd come back still anyway. Like that takes a special personality to be okay with getting booed when you got injured in your last season. Yes, money does help, of course.
100%.
We also have another Giant getting an award. I love that it's award season, and we keep on seeing Giants get awards. When's the last time you keep hearing about that? It's probably like 2011. So Giant executive scout Jeremiah Davis has been awarded the CO Bracado Memorial Award, which is for scouts specifically. So he's been working with the Giants since 1988, became a full-time scout with us in 1990, and has been executive scout for the last 15 years. So congrats, Jeremiah, because anytime you get an award, it means you did something right. Absolutely. Not to mention the fact that, obviously we're talking 88 to now. So he's been part of 3 Super Bowl championships in that time frame. So kudos on that. That's a great career.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Yes. So hopefully many more years to come, Jeremiah. And also do not forget that Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. So let's get into our defensive line here, because this is one of the most interesting groups, I think, on the entire roster. Mm-hmm. Talk about a top-heavy and bottom-light group. That's right. Exactly what it is. We got 2 of the best defensive linemen in a 3-4 system in the entire NFL.
Right.
And then after that, it kind of goes to, okay, you're
Nothing.
okay, poop.
Right.
Like, it just goes right downhill. It's like a cliff of talent, basically. And Joe Shane's already kind of alluded to that as well. And I shouldn't even say kinda. He flat out said it. Like, we need depth at that position. Mm-hmm. Because we had how many people get injured for us this past year at the defensive line position? We talked about the injuries of wide receiver. We talked about the injuries of offensive line, corner. No one really mentioned the defensive line too much. There's a ton of injuries there.
That's because the defense still played pretty well.
It did.
At the end of the day. Like,
yeah.
When you talk about,
when Dorian Xavier was there.
Core and people are dropping balls nonstop, but at the same time, every game you have pressure on the.
So there was only one game. There was only one game in the first 7 games that we only allowed 23 points. Every other game was under 23 points. That's insane. This defense was doing things that didn't make sense. It was that good.
Especially with the talent they had.
Exactly.
That's the big thing. Wink deserved a head coaching job this year. I'm glad he didn't get one. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the fact that someone didn't give it to him is an absolute travesty. Mm-hmm. Absolute travesty.
This defense was probably the most underrated defense going this whole year, because all right, everyone looks at sack numbers, but what about the pressure number? Like, that is it's correlates to the
super
sack
important
number.
And I think we finished at number 6 or something of that sort.
It's also just the overall eye test as well, because it's not always about stats with football. It's actually watching the game, see what's going on. If you watched it, Dexter Lawrence was in every single goddamn play there was. Leonard Williams, when he was healthy, was still very good as well. So, like I said, it's an interesting group. So we got to start off here with the man, the myth, the legend, Sexy Dexy himself. Sexy Dexy. Got to do the dance. Got to do the dance. Oh yeah. But yeah, see, I mean, amazing for a guy that came off. And remember last year, and there's so many people denying it now. People were pissed when we picked up his 5th-year option. Pissed.
I wasn't pissed at the 5th-year option. What I was kind of screaming out was, please move this guy to nose tackle.
Yep.
He is below average outside.
Yep.
And he was that. He was a failure of a pick all the way up until this exact year. And nobody could tell me any different. So if I see anybody from the past saying, oh, Dexter sucks, that's warranted, because it's true.
See, I would disagree with you in a certain realm, because I don't think he sucked. I don't think he reached his potential. It's quite obvious. But I would say he was about an average defensive lineman.
I would say he was below average just because of
Rob, you were the tiebreaker.
The lack of impact that he had in the game.
C-.
Oh, a C-. That's still a passing grade.
Yeah. But it's a bad,
listen,
grade.
I earned those C-minuses in school when I went, damn it.
Yeah. If he would have had an F, he would not have his 5th year opted for. He had potential. He showed potential, and he showed the room to grow. And obviously, he did that this year. And that's kind of hindsight as well, because hindsight is 2020.
I saw so many people.
And that's Barbara Walters with 2020.
Yeah, I saw so many people on Twitter though say it like this wasn't a secret. It was like, God, just somebody please come in, Wink, please come in and put this guy in nose tackle. That's it. Everybody knew this except for the Giants coaching staff and GM from previous years. For whatever reason, they were insisting on selling us that this guy is a pass rushing 3-down guy. Okay. I mean, he ended up being that guy, just not at the position you guys wanted him to be. So,
yeah. And for that alone, shows you that we finally got a good defensive coaching staff. Not a guy who wants to just keep on putting a whole bunch of ex-Cardinals on because they're the only ones who know his system. All the crap we dealt with there for how many years.
Oh my God, Betcher.
Remember back then it was like we had Betcher. It was like, well, what free agent should we sign? Let's look at the list of Cardinals. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're going to get Antoine Bethea, obviously. We're going to go ahead and get Kareem Martin.
From the Arizona Cardinals. Just bring him over here.
Yeah.
That was so bad. That guy
and you know what? I would have gotten that if Arizona was a good team.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Arizona had a good defense with Betcher.
They had a really good defense.
But they weren't a good team. It's like you're picking people off from not a winning culture.
And here's
you're
my
adding
conspiracy theory with that, that whole thing.
Did he shoot JFK?
Betcher was the defensive Betcher was the defensive coordinator, right?
Yep.
But before he was defensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator went to the Jets, Bulls.
Yep.
That was Bulls system, Bulls player.
Yep.
And he just rode that tail. He rode that bandwagon, and he came over here and he couldn't produce for himself. And guess what? Betcher has never gotten a defensive coordinator job ever again.
Probably never will.
And you know what was the biggest mistake? And this is along with the fault of the Giants fan base. We kept blaming Landon Collins, not Dory, Janoris Jenkins. We kept blaming the players who we have seen do good, and we never blamed the coaching staff and the scheme. And that's hopefully what in the future, as a fan base, we'll get smart enough to kind of put blame on also coaching staffs, not just players.
You know what? I just looked up where Betcher was. I was curious. I hadn't even thought about that man in a couple of years.
He's like an assistant somewhere.
He's a linebacker coach for the Bengals.
Yeah, he's a scorer.
So, which is interesting because who is the Bengals defensive coordinator?
Who is it?
Another former Giant. So, what's his name? Lou Anarumo. I'm going to mispronounce his name. I always do.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So,
Lou Amarino, I think.
Yeah. Anarumo. I don't know. I'm going to mispronounce it no matter what. It is what it is. Sorry, Lou. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a steal now what we have him at next year at what is it, like $10 million and change we have him signed for next season. And people keep talking about extension. I don't want an extension for him this year. I really don't.
I don't want. I'm with you. I'm okay with the extension during the season, though.
I want to see year two.
Well, you have to sign him. If you don't sign him during the season next season, then you're gonna lose him in free agency.
Oh, you won't tag him. We'll tag him too. Taggity tag again.
I'm okay. So listen. So this is just my theory.
Yeah.
You can't pay him right now.
Nope.
Because he is an all-pro caliber player. If you pay him right now, you have to make him the highest paid nose tackle.
Oh yes.
You don't have to make him Aaron Donald. You don't have to give him the highest paid defensive tackle, but you do have to make him the highest paid nose tackle.
He's going to get $20 million a year easily.
Exactly.
Easily.
So my thing is this.
You don't buy high.
Let him play during the season and let him show us that he is an all-pro nose tackle. And if he is, perfect. You absolutely deserve to be the highest paid nose tackle, but do it for 2 years at least 1.5 years in a row and show me that. Don't give me, I can't give it to you right now. And hey, listen, if next season, in the middle of the season, he's not having such a great year, I'm still locking him up for a whole bunch of years.
Oh, yeah, but the nice thing is, even if he's not as good next year, that means you saved money because you didn't buy high. That's the whole thing. You do not buy high. It's like a stock. You don't go, oh, look at Amazon. It just rolled right up now, $100 extra a share. Let me go buy that. No, that means you should have bought it yesterday.
We're 100%.
It's too late. You wait till it drops again. And for him to have a back-to-back Pro Bowl season would mean, yes, you have to go ahead and pay him top dollar.
And
but if he has...
You're good with that.
Oh, yeah, because you got a Pro Bowler. Because you got a Pro Bowler.
Not even a Pro Bowler. I want to see him do all pro, just like he was second team. He was second team all pro. If he could be second team all pro again or all pro, or listen, I don't even care if you don't get the accolade. If you're putting all pro numbers, perfect. Yeah, you deserve this money.
I got to know it's not a fluke. That's what it boils down to. I got to know it's not a fluke. Because plenty of people have one good year, and then all of a sudden it's like, where is this guy? And we already got to potentially pay Daniel Jones when we're still not sure about him. Now you want to pay another guy off of one good year?
Let's not make the same mistake that we did with Leonard Williams, pretty much.
Well, yeah, we made a lot of mistakes with Leonard Williams. Which one?
Oh yeah. No, so listen, we traded for Leonard Williams, and
that was our first mistake.
And I don't think so. I like the trade. Trade. I think the analytics numbers were telling you he's playing out of his mind. And I was like, this is where we need to sign this guy. His QB hits is off the charts.
Yep.
But the problem is that the Giants defense was letting opposing quarterbacks get rid of the ball 0.03 seconds faster than their average times.
Yeah.
Of course, Dave Gettleman is not going to look at analytics. He calls them the computer guys. So
where's the hog mollies? Where's the hog mollies at over here?
A smart GM would have said, this guy is not the problem. As a matter of fact, this guy needs to be the solution of my team. Would have signed him cheap where he would have had no sacks, nothing like that. What happened the year after? He ended up having an insane year that he's never had again, and he held us hostage. And
probably won't again. I mean, let's be honest.
Never will again. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. And listen, I'll be very happy to be wrong on that. But Leonard Williams has not been the multiple sack guy except that 1 year.
Exactly.
That's the only time when he had a contract year, when he held us over a boiling pot of water saying, sign me or good luck. Because you already gave up a draft pick. You already paid me a lot of money.
2 draft picks.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a third, and what was it, like a fourth or a fifth the next year?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Like a third and a fifth or something like that. It was a pretty penny, which again, I think he was worth that. Yep. I just think we messed up on the contract.
See, I would have just tried to sign him as a free agent the next offseason. That's where I think we made a mistake. That's why I'm saying, as far as that, the mistake was trading for him because we should have just waited. We weren't. It wasn't like we're like, oh, Leonard Williams, this is what we need to make a playoff run. Like we weren't getting in no matter what. His half a sack he had that second half of that season did not bring us over the hump. I'm sorry.
That made no sense. We weren't playoff contenders.
Yeah.
Why would you trade for the guy?
Exactly.
Again, I like that we brought him here.
They wanted control over him.
It didn't make no.
They wanted control. Gettleman fell in love with certain players, and he fell full bloom love. And that's just the way he was. Once he fell in love with the guy, he was going to get him no matter what it took. He didn't care. He did not care. He was like that obsessive girl in high school that won't leave you alone. Like he was just like,
we can talk about Gettleman's mistakes all long.
Yeah. You haven't called in 2 days. I got my seat changed next to yours.
Text me, call me.
That guy, man. I can't wait till his completely disappear from our existence and our thoughts, man.
Oh yes. Listen, it probably never will because, in all fairness, it was that bad.
We're scarred. Yeah,
it was that bad. Yeah, we are scarred. We are feeling. I mean, we're still feeling the effects of it this offseason. Mm-hmm. So
and we will continue to feel the effects of it because the fact that we're having these troubles with signing these guys, it's not just going to be this year too. People are saying, next year we're going to have a whole bunch of money. Yeah, but guess what? Next year we all got to pay Andrew Thomas, and we're probably going to have to make him the highest paid tackle.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Dexter Lawrence at that point too.
Dexter Lawrence at that point too.
Yep.
McKinney is probably going to have to get paid this season.
Season. I think next for that. I think they'll hold off till next one. I think they're not going to do any unless they can get the cap number down this year. They're not going to do it.
So it's we have all this money coming
Plus,
in.
do you want to really give a guy a big contract who almost JPP'd himself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what that hand is yet.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Listen. As long as we're not paying him as the top safety, like literally the top safety, I'm okay giving him a top 10 price.
I think he'll get paid $9-10 million.
Yeah, because look at JPP. Like we all made fireworks.
JPP was a mistake.
New Jersey.
Was a mistake. We should have kept him.
Yep, we should have kept him. I agree 100%.
Yeah. Like
third round pick we got for him. Like, what? Are you kidding me?
And again,
even because he asked for $7 million.
Yeah.
It's like
he still played pretty damn well.
Hey, and again, it goes back to the giant. And this is the fan base too. We're not educated enough. We kept blaming the players. Oh, they're all bad. Oh, they're bad.
Yep.
James Betcher made all 11 players look bad. And when your 11 players on any side of the ball look bad, please stop looking at the players. Look at that staff.
Especially when it's people that have had success elsewhere. Like if you had success elsewhere and you come to New York and all of a sudden you suck, chances are it's a scheme.
He's 27, 28. He's not over. He's not done. Come on.
Nope. They just didn't think he'd fit in the 3-4. Where'd he go? He went to another 3-4 and did no problem.
Exactly, man.
Dumb. But so let's
this conversation.
I know. So let's get on to Leo here, because we got to figure out what we're going to do with Leo, because that's one of the biggest moves this offseason. So obviously Leo's got a $32 million cap number. $32 million. He's king of the world. He's definitely there. He's Leo there that way. But the thing is, do we keep him on the door or do we push him off? That's the whole thing now, because $32 million, but 20 of it will be 20.2 actually is dead cap space if we cut him. We only saved $20 million, and you still have to sign somebody to replace him. That's what people keep forgetting. Like, let's just cut him. If we cut him, we save $12 million. You don't, because you're going to spend $5-6 million even on somebody who's less than he is at that point.
Absolutely.
So you save,
at that point, you kind of like your seatbelt buckled in. You have to keep them at this point, because
absolutely,
you're taking a gamble on someone else that you don't know. You might pay 5 or 6, but you also might pay 9 for replacement. And then what do you actually save? $3 million for someone that you don't know how they're going to play. You got to. This guy.
So what kind of contract would you guys want to give him?
So if I had the option of giving him a contract, I would extend him out.
How much?
I'd want to get, I would say, just like a 3-year deal. I don't want to go too long, because I got to think long term, but I got to get out of this maybe in a year or two when I start signing Andrew Thomas and start signing, Sexy Dexy and Xavier McKinney and all these guys. Mm-hmm. So I would get him if I can get him like a 3-year deal around like $60 million, and we can maybe save ourselves like $15 to $17 off the cap space this year, I'm down.
But then you wouldn't be decreasing, like you're really.
Oh no, I'm tearing up the contract. That contract.
Yeah. So
I'm doing a brand new contract with him.
You gotta extend it out, and you look into
but he has right now.
Space.
He has right now 18 coming to him, right? Like that's his money that's coming into him, right?
But we can extend if we do an extension like that and rip up this year as part of it. We can move some of that dead cap space 100%, to next year.
Right? No, 100%. So kind of what I was thinking was giving him just extending him for 1 more year and giving him 12 years a pop, 12 million a pop, just 12 this year, 12 next year, and that's it. We're done with you. Hey, listen, it's been great. Get somebody in the draft that kind of is going to replace him now, so that way. Next season, he's here. The year after, he's there. But then, boom, done with him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that sounds good too. But also, like, would he take that? Like, if he's guaranteed $18 million,
so he came out and said that he's willing to kind of work
he knows.
a team-friendly deal because
he knows.
robbed the bank. He robbed the bank. He's happy. He's rich. He's like, yeah, you know what? I robbed you guys. I'm cool with that.
He wants to win too. That's part of it. I think he wants to win, and he knows that they're not going to be in a position to win if they don't get that cap.
Giants are in a winning situation next season, though. So.
You know what? You would have said that the last year too, right?
No. So we can show.
We're 2 years away.
You got receipts.
I got receipts that say that I had a 9-win season and a playoff run.
So did we. We didn't say a playoff run, but we didn't go into that part. We said 9 wins ourselves too.
Good job.
So we were 100% wrong in which ones we win and which one we lose, but we were at the 9.
I was probably about 70 to 60% wrong.
Yeah. Me too. So I called the Ravens. I didn't call the Green Bay game. The Green Bay game, I was like, no way, we're not going to beat Rodgers. So that was one that I didn't call. What was the one
in Lambeau? In Lambeau.
Yeah, no, that was in London. That was London.
Europe, yeah, it was Europe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I had us losing to the Packers, to the Ravens, to the Titans, to the I had us beating the Seahawks. I had us beating the Seahawks and the Lions.
I did too. Oh, those are the ones that I got wrong. Absolutely. You're right.
I thought we'd split with the Eagles.
So if you looked at the Titans, have you looked at the Titans schedule for the last 3 years now? They've lost to really bad teams in week 1. In week 3 years ago, they lost to the Texans, who were like a really bad Texans team.
Like every year.
They lost to the Jets, a really bad Jets team. And this year, they lost to us. We're not a bad team, though. But they lost to us, which we thought we were going to come into the season as a quote-unquote bad team. So the best time to catch the Titans, apparently, under this coaching staff is week 1.
Apparently. Also, the last 4 weeks of this season or so, what was it, like 4 or 6 weeks they lost in a row to end the season?
Yeah.
They about a collapse.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, that's what happens when you don't have a starting quarterback, though. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Everybody wanted Malik in the draft. How'd that work out, guys?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I wouldn't even say it's about Malik. Malik shouldn't even be on the field this year. He is a developmental player, and I'm not willing to give up on Malik yet just because he played 2 games. These are the same fans that were willing to give up on Jalen Hurts when Jalen Hurts only didn't even have a season as a starter.
Yeah.
And look at him now. He's a top 5 quarterback. Or at least he has to prove it again that he's a top 5 quarterback. But I'm okay. I'm comfortable with saying he's a top 10 quarterback moving forward.
Yeah. No, as of right now, he definitely is.
If Jalen Hurts plays 80% as well as he did this year, he's going to get he's going to break the new QB record of getting paid.
He's going to get paid this year. He's going to get paid this year.
Yeah, he is. And I just hope he continues his amazing Hail Marys he has at the end of games, because that was just freaking funny as hell to watch.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like 10 yards down the line.
Such a bad way to go out.
Oh my God.
Because he outplayed Mahomes in that Super Bowl.
Except that fumble.
Except for the fumble pick 6. And
I had all these Eagle fans going, oh, well, the refs cost you the game. I'm like, the refs didn't cost the game. The game was cost because of the fumble. That if that fumble didn't happen and they don't score that touchdown, that game is over right there. I'm telling you.
Defense gave up 31 points.
Yeah.
What games are you trying to win giving up 31 points?
And you saw they're going after the old DC now.
That's not their defense either. That defense was top notch most of the year.
And they're going after the old DC though, saying he didn't put them in the position to win. They're blaming him point blank.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is my chart in terms of coaching stats in the NFC. I have us as the best coaching staff in the NFC, right? Then I have the Eagles, then I have the Cowboys, and then the Washington Commanders. They just got be enemies, so I might move them. Might put them at second. But the Eagles coach this division. The coaching staffs in these divisions are so bad, in my opinion. The offense of the Eagles is a very simple offense. It's just they have really good players.
Oh, yeah.
It's just high school football.
Yeah, with their cap issues.
They're going to run the same thing. They're going to run the exact same thing.
Yeah, but they have cap issues this year. How many guys are they going to be able to re-sign?
Well, I don't know if they're going to have cap issues.
They'll work it out.
They're work it out. Super Bowl window. They're going to sacrifice the future to win now. They're in a Super Bowl window right now.
They're going to Mickey Thomas this whole thing.
Whoever they need, they will absolutely be able to get.
So let's get to the backups here, the defensive tackles here. So we got to talk about, obviously, 2 names that I want to go over first here are the guys that I would say are probably the only decent backups we've had on that line, and that's Justin Ellis and Nick Williams. Both guys with some experience. Obviously, Justin Ellis had the experience in the wing system over in the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. Nick Williams has been around. I think he's played for like half the league at this point, it feels like. He's been all over the place there. But I thought both of them played decent when called on, especially Nick Williams. I think he was a nice change of paces. He was a little more of a pure run stuffer than trying to go after the quarterback like Leo and Sexy Dexy do there. Mm-hmm. But beyond them,
even them, we just do not listen. You need to have like that third starter, and here's the problem with this defense: when we needed to go 5-man front. So when we needed to play like a real traditional 3-4, we just didn't have that extra DE there that we could put in, right? So we have the nose tackle, we have the extra DE with we have Dexter, we have Leonard, that other DE missing in action, and we just anytime, and I'm surprised teams didn't do this enough.
Yeah,
and this also tells you the lack of coaching in the NFL. But when a team would put us in their 12 personnel, when teams go on 12 personnel, when teams will go on 13 personnel, they would expose the Giants' defense incredibly. The Giants were praying teams would go 11 personnel against us because we were so good against. Listen, we gave up a ton of pass yards, yes, but we were driving quarterbacks crazy. Yeah, we were 6th in pressure in the league, so we love to see 11 personnel. But what's the problem in our division? Our division is filled with teams that want to run the ball.
Run.
We don't fit what the division is doing.
Oh, yeah. And that's the biggest issue. That's why we lost every single game except for the one against the Commanders. I mean, when you go, 1-4-1 against your division and you still somehow get into the playoffs, that's just absolutely amazing.
Luck. That's luck. Yeah.
And I mean, and Giant fans won't want to hear that, but it's the truth. It really is.
The absolute truth, because what is the truth about it is the NFC, the NFC as a conference is a really weak conference right now. Almost all the quarterbacks moved to the AFC. Probably Rodgers is going to go to the AFC too. And don't get me wrong, it's still going to be a weak conference too. Probably coming up this season, but we don't play as many NFC teams this year. I think we're playing the extra divisional games that we play. It's going to be from the AFC this year.
Yeah,
and that's going to be scary too.
Yeah, because I know we're playing the Miami Dolphins in Miami, because I'm going to go down for that game. So that'd be a nice little fun.
That's gonna be nice. That's gonna be a nice little. Hopefully, it's like dead winter though, so that way you could really enjoy the summertime. I mean, you could really enjoy the heat.
Oh no, I live in Florida.
Oh,
okay, yeah, I live in Clearwater, so for me it's like a nice little 5-hour drive to go down there. So
that's gonna be dope. Yeah. That's gonna be
nice little trek across Alligator Alley.
Man, I think I'm gonna have to also make to that trip down there, man, because that would be nice. I hope it's late in the season though.
I'm hoping it's a late game in general, because I don't know if you know what they do in their stadium, but they purposely made it like 20 degrees warmer on the visitor side than the home side.
Really?
They angled the stadium to get the sun in the afternoon to hit.
We do the same thing too, though.
Oh,
right?
I know it. Every team does it.
The sun hits the home team, and then the visiting side is cold as shit. Yeah.
But how many times also was it back in the old MetLife Stadium?
The old MetLife Stadium.
When it was the Meadowlands, the Giant Stadium, and they would sit there and open the door and let the wind through for a kick and stuff like that. I mean,
see that's crazy right there.
Stuff that you would never be able to do nowadays. They would just get away with.
The wins, man. A lot of people get away with crazy stuff today, even to this day, man. It's crazy.
Well, they didn't realize. I think it was the Saints they were playing, I want to say, and they looked at the thermometers. They had the temperature gauges, and it was like 110 for the visitors, and it was like 80 for the home team.
That's crazy, man. And remember that the Giants, the hotel didn't have water for the playoffs game and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's home field advantage stretches out to even outside of the damn stadium.
Oh
it's crazy.
You want to take a shower? No.
You can't take a shower. Sorry.
I'm like, all night long.
Who do you want to? I just got to block Dexter Lawrence.
I just got worried. Rob. I thought you were trying to invite us in the shower with you, Rob. I got a little worried for a second here. This is how guests don't come back on again. Like, how was the show? Well, the guy invited me to the shower. He was very friendly.
Gotta go.
Nice shower. The game.
So rest of the players here we got at the defensive line. Like I said, I think it's pretty much a pile of poop, basically, to put it nicely. So you got
that's exactly what it is.
Henry Mondu, Ryder Anderson, DJ Davidson, who I never liked the pick of to begin with. We just picked a defensive tackle because we needed one. Vernon Butler. I mean, nobody that I really was like, okay, this is a keeper. So I'm at the point now where I got 4 guys that I want to have on this roster from last year. I got the 2, obviously, with Leo and Sexy Dexy there. I got Nick Williams and I got Justin Ellis to be kind of the veteran presence on there. But beyond that, we got like 2 or 3 spots we got to fill up, guys.
And I'm okay with even them walking away.
I know, yeah. Listen, I'm not going to be hurt if they go, don't get me wrong. I'm just okay if they stay, if that makes sense.
Right, no, absolutely. You at the end of the day, you got to have 100 guys coming into camp next season. So, you got to have bodies for sure.
Yeah. And I do think we might look at this position as far as free agents, but part of the problem you run into is with the 2 big contracts we're going to have here, obviously, we're not going to go out. Money. Yeah, we're not getting Hargrave or somebody like that. Like, we're not going to get like the top of the line, like defensive lineman kind of guy. Like, we're going to get the cheap guy, the veteran guy, the guy who'll pay for like $5 million or less, and that's it.
Yeah, once again, like we said it so many times. It's a rebuild year, right? That's what this last year was supposed to be.
Yep.
It still continues to this year coming up. Like, this is a rebuild draft. Guess what they're going to do?
Yes.
All these players that you want to get rid of, we're going to start drafting them. And guess what that is? It's a lot cheaper than going after free agency and trying to get these guys in here. And guess what that does? Frees up our cap. So this way next year, when our cap is even lower, we can go out and get those free agents.
Right. Yep. We could try to see where the team is, and if we can make that substantial leap. Like I am truly listen. It's too early to kind of say that next year is going to be. My expectations are really low for next season, and it's because of that. It's because of the rebuild. We're rebuilding.
Yeah.
I'm in the belief that whether Jones and Barkley both come back or don't come back, I don't think we get to 9 wins next season. And it's because it's just this team lacks depth and lacks. Yep. It's not on them. It's how, if we bring them back, how are you going to get them help? Yep. You're going to rely on the 11 draft picks?
Yeah, $45 million cap space. Yeah, the quarterback who wants over $45 million and the running back who wants $14 million. That doesn't add up.
You're not going to be able to get them much help in free agency. Nope. You're going to be relying on guys from the last rookie class who didn't play for the most part. They're going to be rookies again
Team ACL
this season.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hopefully the new turf.
Hashtag Save Our Beaver.
Yeah, hashtag Save Our Beaver.
Hopefully the new turf fixes that stuff, but
hopefully,
you know what I'm saying?
Can't hurt it.
But you're asking pretty much 2 rookie classes to step up and participate and contribute right away.
Yep.
Can it happen? Absolutely. Do I expect it to happen? I'm gonna say no, because it's just really hard to have that class. It's really hard to have the Seattle draft class of last year.
Oh yeah. You know? Oh yeah. And that's honestly that's what it is. Our draft class will determine this season probably. Mm-hmm. It really will. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially for us at wide receiver. Especially at wide receiver, because we need that one stud. If we get a stud wide receiver out of the draft somehow.
Who do you guys want as the first round pick? Like what position you guys would want?
Part of the problem is because it's 25, it just depends on who's available. It's like it's so much easier to go, at number 5 I want this person.
Don't give me a name. Don't give me a name. Give me a position where you want the first round.
So I really can't give you a position per se, because it depends on the best available player at that slot for our needs.
So BPA does okay for your needs.
Yes,
for your needs. So like
BPN.
Right, so Zay Flowers comes down, like, all right, let's go get him. Right, so if he's not available, like, maybe we go to someone on the line somewhere, offense, defense. Like,
I'll raise you. I'll go BPA. I don't even care what it is. It could be a tackle, and I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Evan Neal, welcome to Guard Life.
Yeah, this coach staff already said it. Best person in the draft is going to get drafted.
Yep.
Doesn't matter on the position. So I would love to see some wide receivers. I would love to see a running back. I would I wouldn't love to see a running back.
Not a running back.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a running back not in the first round, but
yeah. Not first round.
Yeah.
I would love to see someone on offensive line or defensive line or receiver.
I'm at if I had my preference as far as position though, in the end I do want just best player available. I'm a big fan of that mentality. Same. Because you reach that's when you mess up. Mm-hmm. But in the end, if you can get a wide receiver, a corner, or a linebacker, that's the 3 biggest needs for this team there. It's pretty obvious. So let's get into some of these tackles that we could potentially draft. So what I did was I kind of went over some D linemen that would be going like the 3rd, 4th round for you guys, because let's be honest, like we talked about the 2 good ones we have. We're not going to get a first-round pick probably to be a defensive lineman. That's probably not going to happen because unless there's some amazing player that, falls down because of a DUI or a ticket or something. I mean, that kind of situation. You never know. Georgia, looking at you. But unless that kind of scenario happens, you're not going to get that kind of player probably in the late first round just based on who's available and where the board sits at right now. But there's a lot of guys like the 3rd, 4th round that I think is that sweet spot for us that we could really get against some guys. The first name I have on the list, who was originally a 3rd rounder, I think this week actually made himself into a 2nd, if not late first rounder. But I had him on the list already. And that is the fastest man alive, the flash of the defensive tackles, Kalijah Cansey out of Pittsburgh. Ran literally the fastest 40 time ever for a defensive tackle since 2016. 2006. That's insanity. That's like when you're doing better than everybody who's played that position who goes in the NFL for the last 16 years. You did something right.
But you know what? He was coming in already as a top 5 defensive tackle already. I don't know where top 5 or like 5 or 4 or 5 defensive tackle lands you in the draft.
See, I had him like beginning of the 3rd, end of the 2nd until this.
Oh yeah, no. He
broke the internet.
First 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to be now a first 2 round guy.
Even before this, you could definitely see him as a first 2 round guys. You know what I'm saying? Like So this is this locks him in the first round.
Yeah. And I think he'll be beyond our reach because of that. But if we do happen to look at him, not only is he fast, but he's got penetration skills, high motor, flexible. He's very small, though. Listen, let's grow up, Rob. I said penetration. It's okay. He's also got explosiveness. How about that, Rob?
He would be perfect. He would be perfect. He would be perfect because you know what we could do with him. And again, I know you guys don't want to talk about edge. On first and second down, we can have him there where Ojulari is at and take Ojulari off the field. Where we need somebody, and I don't know how his run defense is. Again, I haven't really studied the guys in the tackle, but we just need bigger bodies.
Well, that's the problem. He's not big. That's the one problem. He's not big. He's 280. Yeah.
Right. Okay, but can he play like Aaron Donald? Because he that's what he's being kind of.
If he can, he's the first overall pick.
Yeah. Let's not put that on him exactly.
Yeah, and that's part of it. It's already on him because he's fast, and because of the fact that he comes same school. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's something about this Pitt defensive lineman.
Yeah, that's unfair to him. Yeah. You're right. I mean, I just don't know. Listen, to me, we need a guy that could rush the passer, right? That's because not all offenses are going to run the ball on first and second down, right? As a matter of fact, the NFL passes the ball more on first down than they do run the ball.
Yep.
But you want a guy there who could do both. If it's a run or a pass, I'm confident with you there. I'm not as confident right now with Ojulari on run and pass situations. Now, maybe I will be next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, his third year, he gets there, but I'm not there right now.
See, I think he will get there. I really do. I think we need a true second defensive end to go along with Leo and Dexter, and I think that's a guy who could be it. But like I said, I think because of his combine and excelling at the underwear Olympics, he is going to be probably a guy who's going to be outside of our budget, so to speak, where we want to put a defensive lineman like that because we have too many bigger needs than that position there. Now, we also got Zach Pickens out of South Carolina is another option. So PFN actually calls him one of the most underrated defensive tackles of the draft, which I always like when a guy is underrated. That means you can get a good steal. I like underrated people. Yeah. So he actually turned down offers from Bama, Clemson, and Michigan because he wanted to stay close to home.
That's crazy.
So it wasn't like he went to South Carolina because nobody else wanted him. He's a South Carolina boy, and he wanted to stay close to home. So that's an interesting part of it there because it's like, why would you not go to the best possible school? Are you afraid of what's going to happen? Is there an issue where you need like a team around you to keep you out of trouble? Like it just draws up questions overall.
Those are conversations that people do not have enough of, and you're making great points right there, Drew.
Yeah, but I mean, he had solid production both the run and the pass, which is interesting because a lot of the guys we're going to go over are more one or the other, and especially run stoppers. There's a lot more run stoppers in this draft than there are pass rushers.
And that's what we need.
Yeah. So like I said, interesting guy to keep an eye on. And if you happen to look up his name and Google him, it's Zach with 2 C's. I don't know why, but Zachch. So if anybody has trouble finding him, that's why. It's a little different spelling there. We also have Gervon Dexter of Florida. Great size, very athletic. He's flashed some dominance. He's got motor and effort concerns, though, which is for me, when I hear that on people talking about that, I'm like, that's not the guy for me.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because of the coaching staff.
Yeah, when I hear motor, that's one thing. When I hear effort, that's another. That's another thing. Like effort is like up here. It's not like the guys.
You know what though? They said that about Kayvon too, though. That's the thing where the interview process really comes into be because who is saying that? Is somebody that wants him to drop? Is it somebody who's had a bad experience with him? We've all had bad days.
I'll tell you this. Bring me guys that are controversial and stuff like that because two things that we have in our facility. We have a great coaching staff that will motivate players, especially our defensive coordinator who have his players run through walls for him.
Yep.
And not only that, you have leaders
100%.
as players that will that this locker room is so tight, and they were tight since last year. So this locker room you could bring guys like this in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm guaranteeing that you'll get production out of these guys. But the best part about guys like Dexter, like you're mentioning right now, is that we could get those guys in the fourth round, fourth round, and they could be immediate, huge impacts on our team.
Like I said, that's my sweet spot because I don't think it's a big enough need to go first couple picks unless you got a can't miss guy there. But third, fourth round, exactly. I think that to me is that sweet spot. And is it just me or is Wink Martindale remind you of that guy you have a beer with at a biker bar listening to George Thorogood?
I love Wink.
It's just like he's just singing along to one bourbon, one scotch, one beer.
Wink on a Harley. Who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't want to have?
Oh, dude, I'd be down in a heartbeat, man.
Have a beer.
Yeah. All of a sudden, some Kiss comes on. It's like, I'm Kiss Army since 1977.
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So next up, we got Cameron Young out of Mississippi State, nose tackle. So that's the one thing I'm not too keen on him because he's a nose tackle. And we're already talking about Dexter Lawrence plays best at that position. But keep in mind, sometimes you need two tackles. And sometimes you need a backup. So it's nice to have. Now, this is a guy who's a big boy who handles double teams. And that's one of the things I like because we've had issues with our linebackers like crazy. And I think we're going to probably sign one. And I think we're going to have a rookie starting, whether it's Beavers from last year or getting a guy in the draft this year. We're going to have a rookie of some sort going for us. And having a guy who can take a block on for him is huge. Look at Ray Lewis, considered one of the best linebackers to ever play the game. You know why that man was so good? Exactly.
Completely clearing his way.
And Tony Saragusa before that.
And Saragusa.
Yes, rest in peace.
And this is what's missed. It's also, and this is what you could say about Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. They're not looking as good as they can because they don't even have that guy in the back. Not even a Ray Lewis. We don't need a Ray Lewis. We just need an average guy in the back. Yeah. And that's all.
Exactly. But like I said, he's an interesting guy, I think, to look at, but he lacks explosiveness 100%. He's purely a run stuffer, kind of like a Gilbert Brown kind of guy, if you remember that guy back in the day. There's a big old body that just sits there and takes up space.
Where's he projected to go?
They're talking with him like 4th round.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly like I said. That's what everything I'm looking at is 3rd, 4th round, because that to me is our sweet spot. You get a guy who can step in and play year 1, but you get a guy that you can still fill your bigger immediate holes in the first couple rounds.
And to be honest, this is why you don't extend Leonard Williams too crazy and you don't give him extra amount of money, because that position, unfortunately, even though it's super important, listen to me, I know that the highest paid positions are the outside guys, the corners and the edges, but to me, you win a team wins when they have down the middle, everything is good. Good quarterback, good running back, good center. On defense, good nose tackle or defensive tackles, good linebacker, good safety. All down the middle has to be sound in order for you to win a championship, in my opinion. So yes, while don't pay those guys, don't pay a running back, don't pay for a center, don't pay for a defensive tackle, don't pay safety, don't pay linebackers, but absolutely find those guys in the draft and build those guys through the draft.
You should be drafting those positions every single draft. Every single draft.
Amen.
Every single one. So next up on the list, we got Byron Young at Alabama. Roll Tide there. So played more than 50 games at Alabama. That's impressive to have that kind of experience coming out of that kind of team in your resume. Yeah. So very strong, very physical, can take special teams, kind of like Young we talked about there from Mississippi State. It has some balance issues. They've seen that occasionally with his technique, but that can be fixed. Not able to pressure the quarterback. And like I said, I'm looking for a guy who's a run stopper because we already have 2 guys that can go in and rush the passer. And sometimes when you rush the passer, if you look, there's a lot of like delayed runs against us. Because they knew Leo and they knew Sexy Dexy were going right for that quarterback. And
counters, draw plays are all killing. They all killed us. Everything, any kind of run killed us last year. Let's be honest.
I just want a big old fat boy in the middle that can hold some space down. That's all I want. Listen, like Leonard Fournette's available. I'm saying Leonard Fournette's available. Maybe he can go to the buffet one more time and be a defensive tackle now.
Listen, why not? Listen, I wouldn't even mind seeing. As crazy as it may sound, I wouldn't even mind seeing 2 nose tackles on the field at the same time. Like, hey, listen, if we want to give a spell to Williams, bring Lawrence and bring bring another nose tackle out there.
Oh yeah,
I don't care.
So I got one more guy for you guys, Scott Matlock, who besides solving crimes on a regular basis, he's also been a 3-year starter over at Boise State, playing in that bluegrass, which should be in Kentucky, but somehow it's in Idaho. I mean, so 2-time All Mountain West selections, excellent against the run. What I like about him and why I'm actually very interested in this guy, even though I see less information on him than I see everybody else that I'm talking about here, the guy played every single position on the line. I love a versatile guy. I love a guy that you can just go, hey, someone's injured. You go there.
What's his size?
Love it. I'd have to look that one up here for you.
Okay. Well, what's his name? I got to
Scott Matlock.
Scott, right?
Yeah, Scott Matlock. So if you see pictures of Andy Griffith, that's the wrong guy.
Yeah, I don't even have him.
So 6'4", 300 pounds.
Look at this guy, redhead guy. Okay, cool.
Right? Look at that. Oh, he's got the 80s like flat top going too, like Leonard Marshall here. If like Leonard Marshall was Irish, that'd be this guy. Right?
300
got the old 80s flat top going.
Yo.
Yeah, this is a perfect size, man. Perfect size.
Well,
and like I said,
as his frame, he's not. It doesn't look like he's too crazy.
No, and like I said, I don't hear a lot about him.
He looks like he can.
He could play it all, and that's what they said. He's played everywhere on that line for Boise State. So I like a player like that. And like I said, it's weird that you don't hear much about him whatsoever. Good. Because keep it that way. Maybe we'll get him in the 5th round or something. So, like I said, that's my guys I got for us there, because we can talk about 6th, 7th round picks all you want, but nobody has any clue who's going to be undrafted, who's going to go to the 6th round. Even the big guys here, the Mel Kipers and all, are wrong in that all the time. But like I said, mid-range guys we got here that we can get one of those guys, re-sign, get guys like Nick Williams, Justin Ellis, maybe sign one other guy, and now all of a sudden you got a whole revamped defensive line. And you did it without going crazy cost-wise, because you already had too much money invested in those two big ones.
We definitely listen, and like you guys said, the rookies that we bring in are going to determine how we do this season.
Huge.
And if we bring some guys that could, and what was our weakness? We couldn't stop the run for a dime. So if we even go from mediocre to average at stopping the run, and we continue to somehow, some way, just our pass rushers, Dexter, I'm including Dexter in there, Ojolari, Tibbs, these guys just take another step up in their pass rush ability, it could be scary. I really do think that our defense is closer to being what we want it to be, and then obviously our offense. And I think that we should absolutely build our defense. I'm a big believer we should build our defense first, then build the offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I'm a big believer in you can excel in one spot with the salary cap. You can't build an amazing defense and amazing offense. You build one.
You're right.
You build one. So we're much closer on defense than we are on offense, obviously. That goes without saying. So if we can have just an average offense next year.
Yes.
An average. All I'm looking for. I'm not looking for crazy. Same as the Kansas City Chiefs have an average defense.
Right.
Call it what it is. Same as us. They're great against the run, great against the pass, horrible against the run.
Like the Kansas City Chiefs defense looks a lot better because their offense is putting up freaking 31, 27 points a game.
Well, they're smart. They're smart because they're going, you know what, we're going to score 30 points a game, which means you guys are going to pass like crazy. So we're going to build up the pass defense. They screw the run defense entirely.
Guess what Kansas City has? They have like the number top 5 run defense in the league. Guess why? Because teams can't run anymore. The run option's been taken away.
Exactly.
It's exactly what it is. I mean, as I said, you're not going to run when you're down 2 touchdowns. You're not going to do it. So, but yeah, like I said, I think that's a decent plan for us of action overall. We'll see what Joe Shane thinks. Obviously, he's got a little more pull than I do, just a little bit there. So we'll see if he agrees with that kind of mentality. But like I said, I think to me, get a veteran guy, re-sign the 2 guys that were decent, because they're not going to be more like $1 million contract like they were this year. They're not expensive guys.
800,000, one of them.
You can't have everybody at a 6'7".
Who's a rookie? He's still here till 2026.
He'll be in the practice squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, even when they drafted him, I was like, what are we doing here? I did not like him at all. Well, I thought we needed tackle. Let's just get a tackle. I really feel like that's what we did. And that's a shame.
So there's a lot of guys that you could make that same argument for out of that draft class last year.
Listen, Cordell Flott, same thing. I was like, why did we pick this guy in the 3rd round? He was going to be available in the 4th or 5th, I thought.
Even our 2nd round draft pick, to be honest.
I'm okay with that one, actually. I'm a big Wandale fan.
I'm okay with it, too. But there was a lot of people saying he was a 3rd round pick. You know?
You know what, though? We went down to the end of the 2nd round because you wanted him. We got the guy we wanted. We drafted down to a better spot for him. I'm perfectly fine with that. We went down twice. Yes. I'm perfectly fine with that move because we always said that. We said, we need this guy. We like this guy. It's too early to get him. Let's go down a couple times. And we did that.
I haven't heard enough people make that statement, and that's very true. Good point.
They didn't reach. They said, this is the guy we want. They targeted someone, and they said, he's going to be available here. Let's get down to here.
And picking somebody 10 spots from where they were supposed to go, it's not a reach. That's not a reach. Yeah.
No, that's not.
Especially
two rounds. 2 rounds is a reach, like Cordell Flott.
Yeah.
Who actually surprised me. He did better than I thought he would this year. I gotta say that. He did do better than I thought he would.
And that's the thing. I think guys like Wandale, like Cordell Flott, Yeah, they didn't show us a lot rookie year, but for me, for Flott, if he just puts on a little bit of weight, he could be that nickel corner that we've been missing here for forever.
He's going to take over Darnay Holmes' spot because Darnay Holmes will be gone. He's going to be gone because he made too much money. He's going to be cut in a heartbeat. We saved like $2.5 million by cutting him.
And yes, the sample was very small for Wandell, but that game that he got hurt, I'm gonna tell you right now, that was the only wide receiver that I saw that was breaking tackles. Our wide receivers catch a pass and they do not gain a yard afterwards. Like they don't break a tackle. They do gain yards. We do have a lot. We were one of the best teams at Yaks.
What was the third quarter? He had 110 yards that game.
Yeah,
and
it was all off of breaking tackles.
I just got to say, we got Antonio's like secretly plugging his show to bring it back here. Talking about breaking tackles. I see what he's doing here. I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. Listen, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Bring it back. Come on, Antonio. Bring it back.
Receivers to break tackles.
Breaking tackles, Giants podcast. I see what you're doing there. Guy's a marketing genius. It's like if I keep on saying my podcast name over and over again, SEO is gonna love this.
Don't forget it, guys.
SEO. Make the Google Beast happy. So, real quick here before we head on out for you guys here, I want to hear from both of you guys here as far as because. Let's be honest, I'm a talkative guy. I already given you guys my plan of action here. I want to hear your guys' thoughts as far as do you agree with that kind of plan? Is there something different you'd like? Is there a particular guy you're interested in getting? And Antonio, you are the guest, so you get to go first.
No, I'm with you 100%. I think that we need to go ahead and, yes, bring guys that are dirt cheap. This pro personnel department has shown that they could get guys from the gutter and kind of had them fit this system. Can they do it 2 years in a row? I don't know if they can, but I do trust them that I have faith in them that they'll be able to do it again, to bring guys that maybe wasn't fit on other guys. They can bring him here for 700, 800,000, $1 million and make it work over here. But we do need to address kind of like the D line and the linebackers. Has to be addressed in the draft.
So we're gonna get one of the, like I said, we're gonna get one of the linebackers, I think, in free agency too, and that's one of the things they're saying point blank is the Giants are looking at it for getting a free agent linebacker. It will not be one of the big names. It will not be.
Would you be okay with like TJ Edwards if we get TJ Edwards, or do you think he's too big?
It all depends on the money. And I think he's going to want too much money. I think there's plenty of guys that are like David Longs of the world that are quality linebackers that are much improvement on what we had that won't cost nearly as much money. Because you get a guy like some of these top guys that are coming out here, you're giving them like $15 million a year.
We can't afford that.
I told you guys we're on the Marshalls and the Ross budget here. Okay, like we're not going to Gucci and Coach here.
And I'm not worried because he wasn't even a Marshalls or whatever you want to call it, JCPenney. He was at the thrift store. He was at the thrift store.
Like Joe Shane was popping some tags. Only had $20 million in his pocket. Yeah.
It was. I mean, all the goofball addicts out there, you guys know my opinion on this. Like, it's been a rebuild year this past year. We're continuing that into this year. We're going to lean heavy on the draft to build our team to the future because that's what you do in a rebuild. You're going to get cheap guys in your free agent. We're not going to pay top notch for these studs out there because we can't afford it. We're rebuilding. And when you rebuild, you want to come from the farm. So we're going to lean heavy on the draft. And if we get a guy cheap at free agent, that's probably a little bit of a veteran that can help coach these new guys coming up. That's what we're going to do. And then from there, like once again, like we already got Sexy Dexy, right? We got
a good foundation. We got a good foundation.
We got amazing foundation.
Good foundation. Yeah,
we just have nothing else.
Start building up. Yeah, so let's start building up from there.
It's almost like the house that somebody started building like 20 years ago, and it's like there's a frame up and stuff. There's no walls quite yet. There's no roof.
We gotta put some insulation in there. It's kind of
that abandoned house somewhere in the woods.
At least we finally got the foundation, though, man, because it was ugly for a while here, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, we found the Necronomicon in that foundation.
The Necronomicon. Oh my God, we're going Evil Dead on this. I like it. No, Now I want to go see the musical. You guys know there's a musical to that, by the way. Evil Dead, the musical. I did as well. I did it at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank many years ago.
Oh, I went to New York. I went to Off-Broadway to go see it.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw it there. It was a Groupon. It was like $30 to do it. It was like Halloween week on top of that. And literally, it's basically the first two movies together in a musical. And then the end number is basically... Yeah. So, and then the end part is basically them at the S-Mart, like an Army of Darkness at that point, doing the end number. And it's absolutely spectacular. I definitely recommend seeing it.
And if you go in the first 20 rows, bring a poncho.
Yes, bring a poncho. It's like Gallagher with fake blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spectacular. I've seen a lot of weird musicals. I also saw Bat Boy the musical. Remember Bat Boy from Weekly World News back in the day?
Yes.
They made a musical out of that guy. It was hilarious.
That's fantastic.
I saw Addams Family in the musical. I've seen a lot of weird musicals.
So did I.
Hey, it looks like you enjoy musicals, though, man. So
listen, I enjoy anything with talent. I just enjoy talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my wife loves a lot of the plays as well, so we enjoy doing it together. Unfortunately, Florida is kind of like hard to get a hold of that kind of stuff like Jersey is.
That kind of stuff,
yeah, we have one theater here called the Straz, and like even to get like any kind of theater seat is like $100. You don't get the $30 Groupons I used to get over in Jersey all the time. I used to go to the State Theater and the Count Basie Theater all the time and do the shows there.
I was about to say Count Basie's like my backyard.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting backyard you have. How have you not have any kind of family functions there? What's going on?
That's a great backyard to have. Yeah,
seriously. I didn't realize your property is worth so much at that point. In his house, he's got pictures of all the celebrities that have been there.
He's got to host a draft, man.
Exactly. Oh, we will be doing a draft party this year too. That's for sure. We will definitely be doing a draft party. So, all righty there. So. Thank you very much, Antonio, for coming on. Though before we get going,
really
I want everybody to know where they can find your work there, and I want to know if we've also convinced you to start your podcast back up again, because that's my goal here today: is get you back on the horse here to get that going. Okay.
Listen, Drew, Rob, I want to say first of all, thank you for having me, you guys here, man. This was fun. It's always, and it definitely got my juices going. So
there we go.
Definitely get back and start cooking in the podcast. I'm gonna start off first with making my who's gonna stay, who's not gonna leave for free agency. Because we got 20 free agents, so that's the first thing that I wanted to touch. So I will be doing that. Be on the lookout for that, guys.
There we go. Breaking news. So I need to start the video again. We got it now.
No, all good. No worries. And
here we go.
Report
there we go. Breaking news. You heard it here first, guys. Breaking tackles.
Breaking tackles is back.
Breaking tackles is back, and breaking more tackles than ever.
Antonio, this is an intervention. Thank you for accepting your faith. Your faith.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah, man.
Let people know too where your Twitter handle, all that stuff, because I know you are all over the place on Twitter. Every time I refresh, I'm like, there he is.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm the number one wanted guy on Twitter, BT Giants. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter. Giving out some crazy stuff, some crazy takes. Just be prepared that it's nothing personal. Everything that I'm writing there, it's business. I'm and by the way too, like some of the point of views that I have, it's. At the end of the day, it's not like we want what's worse for the Giants. It's just we think that our ideas are the ones that are going to make the Giants, to be that team that we all want it to be, which is a Super Bowl contender. And at the end of the day, as long as people understand, hey, listen, you could like Jones, you could dislike Jones, but the point is we want to see this team contend for a Super Bowl sooner than later. That's it. You can have those debates, and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with being a Jones supporter. There's nothing wrong with not wanting Jones there. It's the way that we're disrespecting each other that's what's wrong. There's no need to be that disrespect.
It's broken out like politics. It's almost like that now. It's almost like like a left or right on Jones. It's like it's weird. It's so weird in Giants land. It really is.
It's so crazy.
And I'm so in the middle, and I'm always like, okay, y'all both crazy. Like it's like I said, I've always said Jones to me is an above average quarterback. I don't know if he can take us to the promised land yet. And until I know that, I can't make a final decision.
And so here's my, and just real quick before we exit, here's my stance on Jones. He absolutely met my expectations for this year. I had 27 touchdowns, 15 total turnovers for this year. And then I was like, hey, listen, his first, second, and third wide receiver coming into the depth chart did not play. So you have to take away those at least 5 touchdowns. You could even take more than that if you want. Your first 3 wide receivers are not there.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? So I wanted 27 total touchdowns. I gave him 22. That's passing. The problem with me is I want him to come back at a team-friendly contract, not a player-friendly contract. And what he's asking for allegedly now, it's not a team-friendly contract. It's a player-friendly contract. But you know what? I'm a player-first kind of guy too. I want Daniel Jones to make $50 million next year, just not in New York Giants, unfortunately, because I care about my team too, you know?
Yep. Got to care about both. And before we get going also, Rob is also kind of the Michigan J. Frog of the Two Giant Goofballs, and he's going to perform his usual nightly song and dance number before we go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my baby.
So everybody listening here out there live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, we are everywhere. It's crazy. We are taking over the Goofballs. So thank you very much for listening live. If you're not listening live and you're listening in podcast land, as Rob calls it there, we are on every single podcast app that pretty much matters. If we're not on the podcast app you're using the wrong one, because I have a list of podcast apps that we're on I never even heard of, and I listen to podcasts like crazy. So trust me, I can give you all kinds of weird name ones at that point that we're on. Even I'm like, what is this? It sounds like a fake thing, but no, it's legit. We're on and people listen. So and of course, like I said, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, all that stuff on all those different platforms, because let's be honest, sometimes you'll be in the car sitting in traffic and want to hear what's going on with the Giants. Other times you'll be bored in the house and saying, okay, there's nothing good on Netflix. What am I going to do? It's either watch some Giants news or talk to the wife. And listen, we all know you're going to pick talking to the Giants news at that point. So go for it. So, I'm going to get in trouble getting off this now.
I'm telling your wife.
Hopefully she's not here. Hopefully she's in pay attention. Hopefully she's like, let him do his casual stuff.
She knows. Listen, she's used to me saying all kinds of weird stuff. I've known Rob for 20 years. He's actually her cousin, so trust me, he knows all the stuff I say all the time.
Gotcha.
I say all kinds of weird stuff. But like I said, guys, we do appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us here at the Two Giant Goofballs. We know you got plenty of options where to hear all your Giants news from, and we do appreciate you chose these goofballs to be the one to go ahead and give you the news. Again, go ahead and like, subscribe, all those kind of fun things there. Tell a friend. That's how we share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Help us to grow the show here. And a special thank you once again to Antonio. Brought great knowledge as expected. This guy's, like I said, all over the place on Twitter and all. Follow him. Keep an eye on his YouTube page there, because he said he's bringing the Breaking Tackles podcast back. So we're going to hold him to the fire on that one. We're going to be like, how come I haven't seen an episode yet? So before we get going, one thing we do actually do, we don't actually do a song and dance number, as cool as that would be, but we do actually do a Go G-Men before we get going here. So on the count of 3, guys, 1, 2, 3, go G-Men! Go G-Men!
Let's go.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?